Hi, welcome to Bernie's Fireside Stories, number 3, Tantine Lean by John Ebrington. Tantine Lean was a lovely French auntie, great aunt, who lived in Paris, and she lived in an apartment block with lovely 1920s wrought ironwork. It was really beautiful and white and nice marble, and it used to have this funny rickety lift, these with wood on the inside and a metal cage that you could see through, and when you were in the lift you could see the floors going up literally, and it was quite small. It could only have 2 people at a time. Tantine Lin had a lovely youthful look about her. She had a lovely smile, very engaging smile, and she was always full of energy and very quick-witted, and she was quite cheeky as well, sometimes. But when she was young, Tantine Lin married a butcher who used to brag about his part of the resistance during the war. Mind you, Tonton never explained how he managed to find enough cash at the end of the war to buy a very smart butcher's shop near the Bois de Boulogne in Paris. Truth was that Tonton also resisted the Germans, but as well as working for the resistance, he did a lot of illegal but very profitable slaughtering on the black market. As a child, I loved to watch Tonton in his shop in Paris. He was a true artist, remembering all his customers' names, masterfully wheeled in his knives and giving advice on cooking as he went. Then disaster struck one day. Tantine Lin told me Tonton had run off with the maid. "I would have understood," Tantine said, "if he had chosen some pretty young thing. But to go off with that woman is extremely banal. I don't know what he thinks he's up to, because he's been impotent for years." But here, poor Tantine was mistaken. Eventually the maid produced a strapping boy, the heir that Tonton always wanted. The profitable butcher's shop was sold when they divorced, and she got half of the proceeds. Tonton could only afford the butchers in a poor district, while Tantine was able to buy a really lovely flat. We smiled a couple of years later when Tonton reappeared. He kept turning up at her flat bearing gifts and getting on his knees to plead for forgiveness. He eventually wormed his way back into Tantine's affections. Tonton then for years led a double life, staying with Tantine in the week and then with his mistress and son at the weekends. This went on for years, until one day he died of a heart attack. Tantine then moved to live in a municipal sheltered housing scheme. It was excellent, but Tantine did not approve of the box of chocolates each resident got at Christmas from the mayor of Paris. Tantine always handed them over unopened to the family, telling us she was a good socialist and refused absolument to eat those right-wing chocolates. Every day, Tantine went and fed stray cats on the old railway line. Then one Sunday lunch she told us that she'd seen a young man following her. My wife could hardly keep a straight face and told her she was getting too old for that kind of thing. But Tantine insisted. He really was a fine-looking boy in a suit, and she'd seen him 3 or 4 times when she'd been to feed her homeless cats. A week later, Tantine told me she'd gone out for her usual walk when that man had followed her again. As she laid out her cat food, he told her that he was a gendarme and he was arresting her for feeding the cats. She was incredulous. Well, I did the best thing for her and I accompanied her to court. The prosecution made a speech about the menace to health of stray cats. The policeman gave an account of all the times he'd seen her feeding the cats. Luckily, the judge looked like a kindly man and kept peering at Tantine over his half-moon glasses. Finally, he asked her if she knew that feeding stray cats was an offence. Tantine told him she did not know and was appalled that all those lovely cats were now going to starve. The judge found her guilty, and then he smiled at her and he fined her only €1. Tantine did not go quietly, stating nothing would stop her feeding her lovely cats. Then immediately outside court, she was accosted by a man who represented a group that works with the town hall, feeding the stray cats with food laced with the humane pill-like chemicals that prevent cats from reproducing. He offered her a job to join a neighbourhood crew feeding the cats with this doctored food. She agreed, and she started working part-time for them. Tantine must have been the oldest person on the municipal payroll, being in her late 70s. Isn't that wonderful? Anyway, thank you for listening to my story, and hope you're all keeping well, and very best wishes. Bye-bye.